Welcome to the Droid Forums News Brief, where your oh-so-humble host, DG Storm,
hi guys,
and Serial Killer talk about the top news stories of the week. Welcome back, Stormy. I know you were out last week with a little under the weather, so it's great to have you back.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Feeling much better now.
Wow, that's good to hear. So we got 3 stories this week, folks. Number 1 is say goodbye to some future root methods. Droid Modder X put this story up. It's gotten a lot of traction, a lot of good comments in there. Next up is Google Project Fi review by our very own Vera Derrock. Chris did a great review on it, and we got a chance to play around with it today, which was pretty cool, right? Mm-hmm. And last but certainly not least, Sony's Xperia Z4 is coming exclusively to Verizon.
Yeah, the Z4v.
Oh, Z4v, sorry, yes. Yeah, great phone. So go ahead, let's kick it off and get going.
Alrighty, guys. Say goodbye to some future root methods. Alright, so this issue has some obvious things happening on the surface. It almost seems like Google is now actively working toward eliminating root capabilities. Realistically, they're probably being honest when they say that their primary focus is simply on security. Still, I agree with several folks who basically echoed what Narsel said about having a fundamental right to have admin rights to a device that you own. Besides all of this kind of tug-of-war discussions talking about, whether Google's actually trying to take our ability to root away, or if it's just about security, or a little bit of both. I kind of noticed, I'm sensing a larger unspoken issue here that may be just glossed over and under the surface. It seems to me that more and more folks don't bother with rooting in custom ROMs for their Androids anymore.
Agreed.
I'm wondering if this could be, this move by Google could be a signal of the impending eventual death of the root and access custom ROM community itself. Mm-hmm. It's a scary thought.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree that, people seem to be moving away from rooting their devices, but I'm going to jump right down to it. And PC 747, he says, I would panic, except I remember a year ago we had the same concern about Lollipop not being able to be rooted unless you unlock the bootloader, and so on and so forth. I would agree with this because, we've been down this road before. I don't think root is going anywhere. As long as somebody can hack a phone, there's going to be somebody out there that's going to do it. And try to do it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You could have all these developers going to Google with, trying to get rid of these exploits, but you're always going to have that guy that's going to be like, you know what? I'm going to crack it. I'm going to be able to, I'm going to obtain root on this device. So I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It may make it a heck of a lot harder, of course. But, we'll kind of see what's going to happen with this, but that's my thoughts on it. And like I said, I'd just like to reiterate that, I think the only thing that's going to kill rooting off is if a bunch of people just kind of move away from it, and it does seem like there is a huge shift in people, really not caring about rooting their devices because, the OEMs have really done great work on their own types of skins and so on and so forth.
Well, and Google themselves too. They've made Android so good and with so many features.
Yep.
There's not as much need to root or have ROMs anymore.
Agreed. Totally agreed. Moving right along. Google Project Fi review. This was a really good comprehensive review. I hope everybody got a chance to read it because if you're a T-Mobile or your Sprint user, I think if you don't mind the Nexus 6, I think it's kind of a no-brainer to go and check this out. I mean, you're going to save a lot of money on your plan, right?
Yep.
I think it's just an all-around great value. Me and you, we got to test it out. The Wi-Fi. We started off on the Wi-Fi call. I wandered down the street. We were on the call, and bam! The handoff was seamless. It wasn't no fading in and out. It was just like the conversation went, pretty smoothly. I didn't notice any disruption. And then coming back, walked right back into the office and handed off right back to Wi-Fi, and it was pretty seamless. So I'm pretty impressed.
The audio quality was the same too.
Yes, agree. Totally agree. Good call quality as well. Good point.
I want to shout out thanks to Verizon for sharing his experience with Project Fi and the Nexus 6.
Agreed. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, he did some great pictures too. Really awesome.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with how well the service works right out of the gate. it's really surprising. Typically you hear about the small little new companies. And granted, Google's not small, but it's a small rollout for the service, right?
Right.
And you hear about these small cell companies, that they basically do the same thing. They piggyback off the bigger guys' networks, offering their own phones and services. But they typically have all kinds of headaches and hiccups. This did not have any of that.
Yeah. At least on our end, right?
Yeah, exactly. At least as far as we could tell. If Google ever adds support for the first gen Nexus 5, then I would switch to this in a flash.
Cool.
Sadly, because of the unique switching tech in the Nexus 6, that seems unlikely. So I'll probably have to wait for some future, Nexus 5 device or something. And I'll probably try Project 5 myself. Down the line once I'm kind of bored with my current Nexus 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. All right.
That's it for that one. Last up, we have the Sony Xperia Z4v coming to Verizon. This is pretty big news, and the Xperia Z4v is one beastly device. With these specs and the water resistance, Sony has created a true flagship.
Yeah.
I'll tell you,
that's good.
I'll tell you, if I were on Verizon and happened to be in the market for a new phone, I would seriously consider this device. I can see why a tech head is considering leaving LG for this device. Could we finally see a successful Sony device in the US with the Z4v?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yep.
It's a distinct possibility, and this is an exciting product. Let's hope Verizon and Sony market it well.
Yeah. You really covered that really well, Stormy. I don't have much more to say. Ryan PM40 here. These are exactly the specs I've been looking for in a Verizon phone. Hey, man, I think a lot of people will echo that same sentiment.
For sure.
It's just a great all around. Sony makes awesome hardware. Like I told you, when I go to the mall, there's a shop that has a bunch of, or a kiosk that has a bunch of Sony phones. I'm always super impressed with their build quality and their phones. Just super awesome.
And it sure ticks all the boxes, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like the perfect trifecta. Like I said in the story, I'm not sure if it has a removable battery or not. It wasn't too clear.
Yeah.
If it does, then it does tick literally all the boxes.
Yeah.
Like it's the triumvirate of all features that you could possibly want in a smartphone.
Without a doubt. It's about time, Verizon. I mean, they finally got a flagship that everybody else is going to be swooning over. You know what I mean? So great week this week, Stormy. Welcome back once again.
Thank you again.
So that is it for this week, folks. Remember, leave your comments in the news stories, and you just may find yourself featured in the Droid Forums news brief. As always, we thank you for watching, and barring any sicknesses, we will definitely see you next week.
Catch you in the forums.